All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Tyler and Lou. Plenty to get into on today's episode as the NBA is back. We've got a little stock watch here. We'll talk about a few NBA cards and what those are looking like in the first week or so of the season. MLB debut patch design has been released from Topps. We'll get into that as that product will come out here in a few weeks. It's going to be in Topps Chrome Update Baseball, Hobby, and Jumbo. We'll talk again a little bit about that. Type 1 photos are hot. What are they? What does that mean? We'll get into that. Is it Marte? Ketel Marte? Is that right, Ty? Lou, the first guy to steal a base in the World Series, had $300 Tacofractor sales for $15,000 to Taco Bell. We'll talk all about that. Big polls, play of the week, a little bit of everything today. So big episode ahead, but first, the usual. We'll start with what's on your mind. The Hamburgler himself is here, a.k.a. Tyler Schmidt, dressing up full Halloween costume on this fine Halloween, the last day in October. By the time this is out, you guys will hear this on November 1st, but Ty is fully ready to go. Ty, what's on your mind today?
Thank you, sir. You know, I am the befuddled burglar. A little befuddled at the moment about the fact that we feel type 1 photos are hot because I feel like
don't really
type 1
think
photos,
that,
have been around for a minute.
I mean, it's just the headline I was given.
It's like saying collectibles are like hot. It's like people collect things, people collect photos, people collect stamps, people collect books, like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone first edition.
Did that sell?
I'm not sure yet.
Let's check. Keep talking, Ty. I'm gonna look it up.
Yep. The things that are on my mind: Manchester United gets smoked by Manchester City over the weekend in the derby. It is like men amongst boys out there right now with that other team, and that's a little unfortunate. But staying in the realm of the footy world, Jude Bellingham is an absolute superstar. One of the biggest sporting events, rivalries in the entire world. Barcelona, Real Madrid, El Clasico over the weekend. Barcelona is up 1-0 at home. And Jude Bellingham buries two to rip the hearts out of all Barcelonian fans. So that was a big update. He is on fire. He just won Best Young Player in the World, I believe, yesterday in the kind of major awards that are hosted by L'Equipe, which is a French newspaper. And Messi was awarded the Ballon d'Or for Best Player of the Year. It was kind of an intense race between him and Erling Haaland. Obviously, Haaland had one of the more accomplished years in the sport in quite some time. But we all know what Messi did in leading Argentina to win the World Cup.
Ty, do you think if the World Cup would have been last year as scheduled, no COVID, it would have been different? It seems like the World Cup would have been like.
I mean, it wasn't pushed because COVID. It was 22.
Was it?
No, it was normal.
I thought the World Cup was in
No, it got pushed because it was in Qatar, so they did it like in the winter or whatever.
Correct. The timing was different just because of where it was, but it wasn't COVID related.
And the Olympics got pushed, right?
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
That's all right. So that's a little footy update. Obviously, Messi won his 8th. Pep Guardiola, who's the manager of Manchester City and managed Erling through the entire year, he said, look, there should be 2 awards. The one that Messi wins and the one that everyone else wins. Messi's worst season is arguably everyone else's best. Like, he is just on a level in his own right. The things that he's done over his career is ridiculous. And yeah, he put a country on his back, a footballing country at that, and won the World Cup, the biggest sporting award, I would say, that potentially is. And the next one's in the U.S. Penn State had a clunker against Indiana, but we came out with the W, 7-1, number 9. Maryland, tough test on the road this week before Michigan.
They stink.
Maryland doesn't stink that much.
They were good, and they've lost 3 in a row now.
They got beat up by Northwestern on Saturday.
They
were good.
Yeah.
Tough scene.
They were playing good.
We're only laying 10.5. I've been looking at some cards. I got to get Roberto Clemente stuff in my collection. That's a lot of times I go on eBay and I just search PSA sold listings, and I just go through hundreds of sales. By and large, vintage baseball still cleans up, and then the amount of $12 slabs that sell actually blow my mind. Like Lamar Jackson,
PSA slabs,
9s.
or like
Yeah, PSA slabs, like PSA 9s, base rookie PSA 9s, like $11-12. Some nice hockey sales I saw, and the Rangers are on fire. That's what I got. The Rangers are hot, coming out of the gate like a real team.
Are we going to do like a weekly Philosopher's Stone update? Because I think we should, because it's like the only time we've seen this.
I mean, who?
I also don't want to hear from anybody. You know,
Kobe. I mean? Oh, there was the clip that went around this week that Kobe had one of them.
Yeah,
Kobe had a first edition Pokemon.
Yeah,
he said it was the number one collectible in his house.
It was.
And then if there was a fire, he'd run and get it.
Yeah, first thing he'd grab if there was a fire was that book signed by J.K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Feels like a
first edition. He knew it. It's fantastic. You're right. I got a green screen that today. Happy Halloween. Photo burglar.
I was gonna say you're like that character from Fortnite.
Yeah.
Bank robber, Fortnite.
How do we feel about the OG app coming back, Lou?
Oh, I'm jazzed. That's gonna be great.
Does it have you in your feels?
Oh yeah, I'm super hyped. I'm gonna sign on. I'm gonna get rocked by 12-year-olds for 3 hours, and I'll never play it again.
It'll be a great time.
Yeah,
I said the same thing. With the boys,
just like old times.
At least a 2-hour sesh.
Yeah. So for me, what's on my mind? Honestly, Victor Wembanyama is pretty good. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention.
He's really good.
He's pretty awesome.
He's awesome.
My idea, like when I finished the show last week, my idea coming into this show was I was gonna be like, hey man, Scoot Henderson like could be kind of interesting. What do you guys think?
Dude,
and Scoot Henderson's pretty good, but Victor is on a different level.
Scoot Henderson's had a rough start to the season. He's 1 of 18 from 3. I think he's got 11 points, 7 points, 8 points. Like he's had a rough start. He's good, but rough.
He's had to come into his own a little bit, but I mean, did you watch the Rockets game highlights at all? He had like 25, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 8 rebounds. Like he's
Vic or Scoot?
Vic. He's nuts. That's really my number one thing. I can't believe we get to watch him in real time. I think I'm going to take advantage of this as this is like the once in a lifetime athlete thing that might be kind of crazy. There's also this possibility where he just looks really awkward when he plays. I think it's just because he's so tall and lanky and no one really knows how to like move around him. So it's like this awkward situation going on. Very interesting to follow. And then we're going to talk about the patch cards, right? Because that's really like the only thing I want to talk about. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're so cool. I think it's such a good job. I hope the NFL replicates this. I need this in every sport.
I love it. We'll get into that in a second.
What was the inspiration behind the Halloween costume?
The inspiration behind the Halloween costume was I didn't have a costume. I got on. You guys are both wearing costumes, and then I was going to be a vacationer. That's what I am. I'm
nice.
On vacation.
Getting ready for Jay's wedding this weekend because it's going to be real scary hours.
Toes in the sand, baby.
Yeah, toes in the sand.
I love it. What's on my mind? I want to bring up something from last week's episode. Ty, there's a clip on record of you saying, I don't love the color red.
And, about Manchester United?
Yeah, and I saw it in the comments a few times that one of Tyler's, if not, Tyler's favorite team, it's going to be Penn State for sure. Obviously, big blue guy there. But you're like, hey, hate the color red, never liked the color red.
I hate it red. I hate the color red.
I think we just missed over the fact that like, what's Manchester United's nickname?
The Red Devils.
The Red Devils. Yeah. Red Devils. Their color is
red. I still hate red.
And I thought about it. I'm like, man, big man, you guy hates the color red. I'm like,
yeah, I'll stand by that. I hate red.
So somebody brought that up, and I just thought it was funny.
I know they were like, I got me, but like I stand by it. Both. How about this one? Both.
Interesting.
Both,
what's on my mind? I'm ready for some news about the team up north. That is, I don't want to get too much into it today.
You don't.
I absolutely do.
No, you don't.
I absolutely am ready for it.
You don't.
I'm so ready. We're not going to talk about it today, but absolutely wild what is being alleged against that team that was so irrelevant for so long and came up with this insane lucrative plan to just absolutely destroy the integrity of college football. Absolutely wild. looking forward to seeing how that unravels.
You
I'm sure
want the
NCAA
wins vacated? What do you want? What's your outcome you're looking for?
Yeah, wins vacated, multiple year bowl ban, loss of scholarships. I mean, just look at what Ohio State got for their own players selling memorabilia for tattoos. Nothing to do with the integrity of the actual game itself. Instead of running a sign stealing operation and allegedly being on the sideline for other team games and
Sideline or in the stands?
well, did you see the report this morning that Connor Stallions might have been at a Central Michigan game to start the season to help them, former Michigan coach?
Yeah, you want me to, I have a couple reports too. You want me to send out a couple reports?
Would love them.
Okay. Tyler, have you heard of this? Is Ryan Day connected to the firm that investigated Michigan football? Last December, Ohio State made a peculiar inquiry to the NCAA/college football playoff. Is it permissible to send staff to scout the other semifinal? Answer: yes. The inquiry triggered a CFP bylaw change and now feels strangely relevant given the NCAA's probe into Michigan. That sounds like another sport that had a weird rule change where a certain thing was allowed and then one team complained and then the rule changed. That sounds so familiar. I don't know why it does. But
I
I
got
don't
a
know.
record that I'm a fan of stealing things based on my outfit, so it's like
yeah, right.
One really day only. Like I
yeah, it's so.
Can't be
I'm
mad
not
about
talking about it today,
signs.
but that's pretty interesting.
I just again, the audience will definitely say, just typical Michigan guy. Let's just blame who reported it rather than the actual crimes committed. So again, a lot of allegedly, but I'm looking
saying
forward
is
to
that
unraveling. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Michigan should wear this as a jersey.
All right, so we are. We're not going to talk about the Michigan-Ohio State thing this week. We'll get more into it. Once some stuff.
I
comes
literally
out
dressed up as Jim Harbaugh for the occasion.
That's great. That's great.
That's a good bit.
Best costume of the year. We got Rockin' Joey B today. I certainly, Lou and I were talking beforehand, but the Bengals might be back. The NFL is so crazy this season. I saw a stat this morning. I would love to find it. I was looking for it a second ago. But if you look at Russell Wilson's numbers and Mahomes' numbers this year, they are very, very similar, and they actually favor Russell Wilson. Like, I think Mahomes has 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I think Russell Wilson's 12 and 4. Like, they both have like top X defenses, let's say top 5. But, Mahomes hasn't looked great. They lost to the Broncos. The Broncos gave up 70 points to the Dolphins. I get it. There's snow. Taylor Swift wasn't there to root on Travis Kelce. That might have played into it. Don't know. Don't know for sure. But yeah, I mean, then the Niners, who looked amazing, and I would have bet to win the Super Bowl in the beginning of the year, lose 3 in a row. Brock Purdy throws 5 INTs, 3 touchdowns his last 3 games. They haven't won the last 3. Jags win 5 games in the month of October. Like, there's just the NFL is just so weird right now, and it's like
Wilson gets the ball with 27 seconds left, drives on the field, kicks a field goal, wins the game in overtime.
Yeah, it just we were writing off the Vikings. They looked okay. Kirk Cousins gets hurt. Now what happens? Titans stink. Kirk Cousins comes in, throws 4 touchdown. Will Levis comes in, throws 4 touchdown passes. Just, man, the NFL is just so interesting right now. Yeah, we could say right now, there's 10 teams you could pick and say they win the Super Bowl, and you'd be like, all right, that makes sense. I mean,
Gus Edwards has put on a little performance of late, by the way.
I'm not sure we're talking about Super Bowl and then we're talking about Gus Edwards, but
hey. I mean, the Ravens are pretty good. I mean,
the Ravens are one of those 10 teams, and Gus Edwards' emergence doesn't make them a different factor with a running game. That point wasn't tangentially related.
It was tangentially.
It's more Lamar.
I'm the Buffalo burglar. All right, let me have a go. Like, come on.
If you want to call it, I mean, whatever.
So, like, that is something I think is worth discussing. Is like Lamar, like the reemergence of Lamar. I think is something that's interesting. Like, the guy was an MVP 4 years ago. Kind of people were still the Lamar Jackson doubt fest. I'm sure somewhere along the way, the 3 of us here probably had some negative things to say about him. But
you earlier this year when you said I've been relying on Lamar and he did nothing, and then absolutely has dominated since.
That's what always happens to me. Lamar Jackson, like, I just feel like I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm expecting more from him, but I'm still getting amazing things. I should just accept that for what it is. They are very, very good. And if they make a trade, maybe for Saquon Barkley, they are going to be a very interesting football team down the stretch.
Yeah, it is. I know we're gonna save it for next week and do some like mid-season NFL watch stuff and see what happened at the trade deadline. But I'm really looking forward to the trade deadline. Like, who's a buyer, who's a seller.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry. The Patriots are apparently shopping a lot of offensive players. Juju, Henry, Zeke, a lot of guys there.
You can get like a bag of footballs for those guys, probably.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, but I mean, I'm okay on this. I've been very open. Start over.
Yes.
Start from scratch. Do the Vikings go out and get somebody with a couple wins lately? Do they go get Tannehill? I've heard that name. I've heard Jameis Winston. What do the Broncos do? Do they sell everybody? There was rumors that the Commanders might make some moves if they lost to the Eagles, which they did, but Sam Howell looked actually decent. I don't think he's the problem. Is Fields getting moved? Right? Are the Bears giving up? Like, that conversation, it happened in the offseason. Lou's shaking his head like craziness, but that conversation has happened before. Like, the Bears clearly, have differing of opinion there. I think the GM that's there isn't the one that drafted him. So just a lot going on. So I'm excited to talk about that next week and, see what happens. What would you guys, before it happens, obviously, because this is being recorded well before the deadline, what would you like the Jets to do? Anything at all or nothing at all?
Gotta get out.
Well, the deadline's in like 6 hours, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is when the action happens.
It's well before.
Yeah. Like we're firmly in the deadline right now. Like, it is occurring as we speak. They are on the phone right now.
Perfect. What
but
would you
as
like
the befuddled
to say?
burglar, I would love to steal a offensive lineman to start. And then I think you get on the phone with Minnesota and you realize that no one's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson anymore.
You're not wrong.
And you find a way to rob him of Justin Jefferson so that he suits up in New York alongside Garrett Wilson.
I like that. My number one thing is you have to find a way to get somebody to take Dalvin Cook's contract. Like, someone should just take him away from me. I just got to get him away.
He's so bad.
I think there was a clip earlier this year when you guys signed Dalvin Cook, and I brought up that signing about Jay. Yeah, not we.
Yeah,
you.
Pull the clip.
That was a we. Yeah, it might have been a we. It's not. It's this podcast is a we, not me as a Jets fan. No, pass. But I think there was a lot of hype and excitement from, a couple guys here and here about, what it looks like if Dalvin Cook was signed in New York and, the possible success there. And just interesting to see, how much.
Yeah, listen,
changed.
It's really hard to predict a guy who had 1,200 yards last year is going to become the worst running back in the league, but that's what happened. So it is what it is. And good thing we have Breece Hall. Yeah, I mean, Breece is just unbelievable. So yeah, I would hope the Jets trade for a wide receiver, and I hope the Jets trade for an offensive lineman, because I'm not sure if you know this, right, but we're on our, I think, 10th different starter on the offensive line this year.
Not good.
Not great.
So was it the center that got hurt?
We had a practice squad guard playing center this week.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
that's not good.
It was bad.
Fumbled his first snap exchange.
But yeah, and then fumbled the first snap he ever took in the NFL. Tough.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, but I do think, for purposes of card, just thinking out loud here, Devontae Adams coming to New York, getting on a Super Bowl run with Aaron Rodgers.
Let's talk about this. Aaron Rodgers throws the ball this weekend.
Yeah, we're quick. Let's pause for 1 second. If you don't care about this, which you most likely don't, there'll be timestamps below for you to skip. Next.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Jets this season?
Yes.
Wow. So if you believe that, are you a buyer of Aaron Rodgers cards?
100%. Christmas.
Interesting opportunity if you believe that to be factual.
I do.
I don't personally, but
no way. No chance. No chance.
Plays this year.
No chance.
I think the Jets have a little bit of magic dust on them, so anything's possible.
Took overtime to beat the Giants. No disrespect to Mike Kafka, fellow
Card Talk. A win is a win, boys.
Card Talk guy, but that's
that
wild.
Team stinks.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Real quick, I want to talk about this.
How quick?
We can talk about this with card. We can bring cards into this. I had a conversation yesterday or Sunday. The Deshaun Watson deal might be the worst NFL deal I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, he is a disaster scene.
That could set the Browns franchise back decades. They gave up
so.
again. Just think what?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it, I was talking through it with somebody, and I don't believe, if anybody that's a listener wants to correct us, I don't think anybody else was super interested in Deshaun at the time. So I think they were basically offering against themselves. But he was coming off. I don't think so.
The Falcons were there too. The Jets were. Yeah, there was a lot of teams involved.
Okay.
Low key.
Maybe low key. So maybe it wasn't as public. I didn't think it was as public. Regardless, coming off of what he was coming off, basically was hurt for a year. Wasn't he suspended for? I mean, sat out, self-imposed.
He sat out and then he was gone for a year. He basically missed 2 years of his career.
So basically missed 2 years. So you don't know what you're going to get with him coming off of the sexual harassment. What's the word I'm looking for? Allegations, right? Like more true than not true. I don't know. Like a scandal, like whatever you want. I think
we can safely say that he was credibly accused.
Yeah, I'm trying to walk the line here, but coming off of that, you give up 3 first-round draft picks, then they give up 2 other draft picks, and signed him for $250 million fully guaranteed. That seems wild to me. Now he doesn't even look like he wants to play. The Browns have an all-time type defense and just can't figure it out because they got XFL or CFL, wherever PJ Walker came from. He's not good. If they run the ball on that third down, they likely could have won the game. Instead, they throw it, intercept. That's
just bad coaching. Yeah, they traded a first-round pick in 2022, a first-round pick in 2023, a first-round pick in 2024, a third-round pick in 2023, and a fourth-round pick in 2022, and a fourth-round pick in 2024. And they gave him a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract.
That's not good. Not good.
I would love to see if we could pull up some prices of what he was doing, like what his cars were selling for. Like,
just pull them up now, because I think they're still selling for an insane amount of money.
No, they can't be selling for a lot still.
I bet you they sell for hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds, yeah, okay.
That's a lot for a dude that doesn't want to play. Doesn't look like he wants to play football. Anyways, I think we should get into that next week when we do stock watch next week. Is what are Deshaun Watson cards doing?
Yeah, we should definitely do that
because it doesn't look like he wants to play football. Speaking of stock watch and cards, have you guys seen Will Levis stuff?
Nope.
Bananas.
Cruising.
Bananas.
What does he have out?
Well, he's in, he doesn't have autos in pro uniform, right? He's one of those 3 guys, Stroud, and Young. So he's got rookies, inserts, parallels, jerseys, case hits, college stuff, Bowman Chrome U, Bowman, stuff from Topps. So he's got autos and a few things from Topps. He's got Panini Instant rookies, again, Prism draft picks. He's got a few things. But man, it's wild.
$350 for a Lava Bowman Chrome auto.
I think for perspective, if you go back 2 weeks, that card's under $100
for sure. Yeah, he was buried on the depth chart.
So
$250 for a refractor Bowman University auto. Just throwing out some prices here. $375 for a refractor auto. Yeah, he's selling for a lot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's another one because if he's gonna be playing the rest of the year, he could light it up. He could make some noise for Rookie of the Year, which is kind of crazy to think about. Stroud kind of seems like he has it locked up, but you're one Stroud injury away from Will Levis being Rookie of the Year if he can keep it up.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hold this. They have a big game Thursday. Let's talk about it next week because I think we should have a conversation about midseason NFL Rookie of the Year pick because I think it's an interesting debate after Stroud lost to Young. Puka Nacua is still there. Levis coming on the scene. What's Bijan doing? I think there's a conversation. So we'll get more into that next week. Guys, what are your thoughts? It sounds like we had a little bit of it earlier, but any opinions, thoughts, feedback on type 1 photos? You see a Gretzky at 44K, a Tyson at over 20,000, Young, Serena, and Venus over 10K. Any thoughts on those?
Can I ask a question? What makes it type 1?
Original. It's like the original print.
Like it comes out of the camera and it gets printed. That's the type 1.
Yeah.
And then why is this popping up now?
I don't think it's popping up now. I mean, if we search we've talked about type 1 photos for years on this show. I just think
I just feel like
some
we've seen
people
like
are
3 or 4 headlines in the
putting
last week.
content out.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say
all it is,
one,
right?
maybe
It's just
2.
content.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like video games. It's like, yeah. I mean, photos, I think, have been popular forever. Obviously, we know the Muhammad Ali, Ansel Adams type ones. I mean,
Who?
they're Ansel Adams.
Yeah, no idea.
Ansel Adams.
No.
He's a famous landscape photographer.
Yeah, definitely on the no side there.
Yeah, that's some Tyler that I don't understand.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
hot though, right?
It is kind of hot, yeah. But I'm saying that's one of those things that you know that I don't know.
Yeah, definitely did know.
Ansel Adams.
Courtney said type 1 is when a photo is the first copy developed from the negative. There you go. The more you know.
Ty, do you own any type 1s?
No.
I don't either.
Nope.
Lou?
I mean, no. I maybe. I don't know.
Unintentionally?
I might unintentionally have a type 1. I don't think so, but
No.
probably not.
You don't.
Interesting.
You don't.
All
right.
Baby picture.
Gary has some dope ones of Ali because Gary's good homie, his roommate in college, father, was Ali's personal photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gary has some sweet ones, actually.
That's actually kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like we get those properly hung.
I would agree.
All right.
They are sweet to collect. I'm a fan of photos. They've existed for a long time. It's not just a PSA thing, etc.
Interesting.
Oh, but that was the thing, right? The PSA said you can cut them or something. I thought that was kind of weird.
I'm not sure what the stitch is on that.
So, for perspective, we got a DM. Jay shared it in the chat. I'll read it. But this is where the conversation comes from. Jay got a DM. It says, question for the show. I've been seeing Nat Turner posting Type 1 PSA photos encapsulated in Ken Golden latest auction featuring these Type 1 photos with some selling for $40K plus of Jordan, Williams sisters, Tyson, etc. With that said, I found some original photos of Kareem and Dr. J I had and I'm going to submit. To my surprise, I DM'd PSA's Instagram and they said cutting the photos was allowed in order to meet the maximum 8x10 encapsulation holder. You can submit larger ones and get PSA authentic letter, but it seems like the encapsulated ones go for much more money. Thoughts on cutting the photos, aka trimming, which is frowned upon, but according to PSA, it's legit because they don't grade. Just authenticate. Hope for a good ROI from the photos in future play of the week. Since the photos came in an auction, I won of 88 sealed Fleer basketball wax box and thought these were junk. This isn't card related, but I'd like to hear the thoughts on. I'd like to hear take on cutting these or not. And he sends the DM from PSA's account. It says, thank you for your patience. The size limit is 8x10 for encapsulation. You may cut the photo if you choose to have it fit in a holder. Otherwise, we would provide a letter of authentication.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense. 8x10 photo, you cut that makes sense to me.
But I think they're just completely different worlds. It's
a different thing.
Like they're just the cards and the photos are not the same. Like they're completely different. So
yeah, I just went on Golden and the top results for Type 1 photo is a Fidel Castro Type 1 photo. That's kind of wild.
I would vehemently be against cutting a photo just so it can be in a PSA holder. It makes no sense. I guess unless you believe the market is going to value an altered photo because it's in plastic, just get it authenticated and then frame it.
Yeah, but that's one of the quirks of the market, though. Like it's no different than why a PSA 10 Jordan sells for $180,000 and a BGS 95
It's an uneducated market. It's an uneducated market that in the long term
with flaws
you would get smoked. If you have a photo that has value, don't cut it to put it into a plastic case. Get it authenticated and then just frame it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
again.
This is like you said, Ty, this is a bigger conversation about flaws in the market. Like, the Jordan PSA 10 example is one. Like, does that correct itself in time? Does that spread get even wider? Like, so he's saying this is for a flip. He's saying the market is showing me I want it encapsulated. That is the best way for me to make money, not with a PSA letter. I'm going to cut it because I'm trying to maximize my money. Does that hurt the buyer in the long run? Potentially, but he is trying to maximize the seller money at the moment. And that seems,
Respect.
in his opinion, seems to be the best way to do it. So again, I
Respect.
think there's a much bigger conversation about quirks in the market, but that's one for a later day. But Lou, I know, is excited about this. Topps announced the MLB debut patch card design, the 1-of-1 patches that they wore on their sleeves the first time they played. Looks like we're going to get some big names in this. I would expect Carroll to be one. Looks like Jung, Volpe. So a couple big names in this. I don't think we're going to get Ellie until later. He doesn't have any rookies this year, so he's probably a 2024 guy. But likely should get some big names this year. Lou, what were your thoughts on the design? What do you think about it?
I think it's the cleanest card that Topps has put out in a while. I think that's a safe assumption. Ryan, when's the last time there was something like this that got introduced into a main product that this feels like a really big deal? Like the players, obviously their careers have to play out, and if all of these guys end up sucking, this is going to be irrelevant, obviously. Like if Volpe ends up being just a guy or Senga ends up being just a dude, like it's not that big of a deal, obviously, but I think it's an actual difference maker for the product in a world where Topps Update is always going to be chased and people are going to be buying it because it's a flagship product, but there is real value in the boxes now with the opportunity to open a 1-of-1 MLB game-worn patch.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question on, I think that's, I don't know if we're doing any giveaway or this week or next week, but I think it's a good question to ask the audience is, can you remember a time that something got introduced into a product like this that created enough demand before the product? The LeBron logo man comes to mind, like that added automatic value to that product just with the LeBron logo man being in there. But in terms of a multi-insert set like this with multiple 1-of-1s of different people, I don't remember Kaboom having that kind of buzz originally. I was young for Prism.
Mosaic, it was giving a little bit of, like, that was kind of the vibe I was getting when Mosaic had its own product originally a few years ago.
That's a fair one. I just don't remember anything like this. This seems to be different for sure. Trying to think of anything that comes to mind. I don't know. I think that's
drop a comment below. I would love to hear it because there's got to be something we're not thinking of. But this feels like the white is so. It's like it's a clean card. It's gonna look awesome in a slab. I'm excited about it. I want to get the Astros ones.
Ty?
I'm thinking about the Tacofractor dude that got the first steal.
All right, so let's get into that. So, is it Ketel Marte? Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Had a couple Tacofractor sales originally. Jay put on here one sold for $320, another one for $1,000. But it was the first player to steal a base in the World Series, unlocking that quote unquote free Taco Bell for life, aka a $15,000 Taco Bell gift card. Quite the win from somebody who prospect on a $320 Ketel Marte Tacofractor card, who just turned it into a $15,000 Taco Bell. I don't know. I don't watch baseball as much clearly as you do, Lou. Would he have been a favorite to steal? Is that a surprise?
I mean, he runs a little bit. It's very silly now that we're on the other side of it, isn't it? Isn't it so silly to look at now?
It's wild. I mean, talk about the ultimate prospecting actually paying off with real intrinsic value immediately, right? Like, if you buy Trevor Lawrence and he does something cool, like it could pay off down the road. But like, this is a $15,000 Taco Bell gift card for a $320 card. Like, you have real tangible value immediately. Like, that's
what do you think you can sell the $15,000 to Taco Bell for?
13,000, 12,000, 85. I mean, what percentage of comps? What percentage of comps are you paying on a $15,000?
I'm thinking 50 cents on the dollar.
50 cents on the dollar? No.
You're bugging, Ty.
When they say you can't eat these cards, like you can't eat a card, you can actually eat that card. That's real dinner for, a while.
That has $13,000 to shell out upfront cost is doing so on Taco Beezy.
I mean, they do it for Mac Jones Mosaic 1-of-1 autos. Like,
that's because they're buying a card. They're not buying Taco Bell.
Yeah, now they're buying burritos, bro.
One has guaranteed real value. The other is all speculative.
I don't know. I think it's very.
I'm telling you,
I think the
somebody
most you're getting is like $72.50 for.
No, I'm paying higher than
$15.
that. I pay higher than that right now.
I don't.
And then
I,
do
I-
what? Eat
Yeah.
$13,000 worth of Taco Bell, bro? What are you
Yes, for
talking
life.
about?
I have a Taco Bell unlimited Taco Bell card. Yes, I'll eat it once a month for
How
life.
often do you
Yes,
go to Taco Bell?
Once a month for life, you might be able to make it up.
Yeah, me and like
Once a month for life is $250 a year.
No, for you and
Oh.
another person, and I got a kid now. Like,
Yeah,
so you're
hold on
saying
a second.
let's say
You're spending
40
more than that at Taco
plus
Bell, bro.
inflation. We're saying at least $40
Yeah,
times
I mean,
12.
like,
That's $500 a year.
Do you know what $40 at Taco Bell looks like, bro?
Yeah, bro. Do you know inflation
in
is
work.
real and it costs like $15 to eat at Taco Bell now?
No,
Minimum.
it doesn't.
I'll go there today just to
$3
prove
for a
it.
taco.
Are you kidding me? It's like
I don't know,
$2.
man. I think you maybe you hit up the dispensary, you go home, you order some Taco Bell, and then it's $55 later, and
So
you're like,
you-
oh my god, what happened?
Nah, bro, a chalupa's like $4, and you can't smoke more
It's a
than two of those.
chalupa, grow
Ty,
up.
if you listen to this, if you have
That's the most
$500,
expensive product.
if you go to Taco Bell one time a month, spend $41-ish over the course of a year, that's $500. For
Ryan,
15 years, that's
Ryan,
automatically
If
$700,
you go to Taco
$2,500.
Bell and spend $40 and eat all of it, I would love, please go to Taco Bell, spend $40 and eat everything.
I'm going to take Reg, and then when my son is old enough, I'm going to take him, and I'm going to get every bit of $40. I mean, by the
If
time
you
that
and
happens,
Reg go to Taco Bell and spend $40 and eat the entire thing, I will be proven wrong.
By the way, this is exactly what Taco Bell wanted, because here I am on TacoBell.com looking at their menu. I mean, the breakfast tacos combo is $5.
That's a meal.
Yeah, maybe you guys are right. It's tough to get there.
no, it's not tough to get there. And I get like soft tacos, meat and cheese only, and it's not hard to get to $15.
That's not 40.
Yeah, but for two people plus inflation by the time my son's eating, like
He keeps saying inflation. It's so funny.
what do you want to call it? Do you think
I'm
the
just
cost of a
saying.
meal is cheaper now or 2 years ago? It's not
We don't
magic.
do politics on the show.
And if we're talking about you're putting 13 grand up front now to eat Taco Bell 5 years from now, that's where you're at with your coin?
Yes. I mean, that seems like a bargain.
I'm going
I think I
with
could also
$6
flip it.
grand. The
I think I
most
could
you're
also flip
flipping
it.
is for $6 grand.
I think I could flip it for like 11.5.
All right, we got to move on.
Taco
Jay's
Bell
yelling
might be
at
out
us.
of business. Taco Bell might be canceled by the time you spend that 15 grand.
That's a real concern,
Faster than Jay.
honestly. All right, let's get into Stock Watch. Bobby put this together. I believe it's all basketball, so we're gonna go through this pretty quickly here. But shout out to those of you who gave us some feedback last time, said you enjoyed it. So appreciate all the feedback on this. So let's get into it. We got a little NBA card report. All right, first one we're gonna start off with is the new Milwaukee Bucks player. Had a big shot game 1, I believe, against the Sixers? If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a big shot to seal it at the end. So you search Damian Lillard on eBay, got 5,800 sales. Again, does the Bucks being a contender and him actually having a title shot now play into this value? 39 points in game winner in the opener versus the Sixers. But his PSA 10 silver, first year Prism, 2012. He's in that. He's a rookie. His PSA 10 is only a pop 40. I think for perspective, I think Luka's is like 2,200. So again, quite the difference there. So we got a couple sales here. We got a Noir Lillard patch auto to 20, just sold for $360. You got a Lillard Select rookie PSA 10, $200. That is a strong base sale. Another one at $200, and then another one at $200. So multiple $200 sales for Lillard Select rookies. And then you got the recent Prism PSA 10 Lillard. Did $425 as a buy it now. So any thoughts here on this one?
2012 Prism is elite. I agree.
Yeah, all time.
Dame Lil, I'd love to see him get it done. It makes sense that he's ripping. The opener came out, did big things. Then he had kind of a clunker game, I think, in between somewhere. But they're going to be cooking. That's for sure. Obviously, he's a star. There's a lot going on.
Think about this. Lillard is great. Lillard is a star, no question. But I think every person on this podcast would agree Damian Lillard is not the face nor the number one guy on that team. Does it concern you to buy the number 2 guy on a title team, knowing that if they win, basically the face of the franchise is a top 5 player in the league, a top 2 player in the league, really probably the guy, him or Jokic, I would imagine. Does that concern you buying the second best guy on the team?
I think it depends on the situation. Like in this scenario, I think it's okay.
I mean, for instance,
it doesn't concern me because I actually don't see him as the second guy. I think on paper and knowing Giannis, sure. But when it comes down to it, guard play far outweighs from a popularity standpoint, I believe. Now, Giannis, I might be contradicting myself. Obviously, Giannis has done his thing, but like when push comes to shove in the conference finals and Lillard's dropping 38, 39, I don't think people are going to be calling him second fiddle. It's more 1A, 1B. And he opens up so much for Giannis. He's going to be bringing the ball up the court every time. Like he isn't the face of the franchise, but when push comes to shove in playoff time, he's going to be a dominant force and player. Now, I know I'm thinking, okay, Jokic, Jamal Murray, like is Jamal Murray not the guy?
100%. I was going to say, I disagree completely, respectfully, but I completely disagree in this. And it's not to say that Lillard's cards aren't a value. They're not a play. He's going to have a real title shot this year. I mean, they're 1A or 1B to come out of the East. But look at Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. It's the same scenario. Steph Curry is the face of the franchise. Klay Thompson is amazing.
Yeah, but Steph Curry dominates the ball. He has the ball more than Klay Thompson. He's the point guard. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's an assumption that Giannis isn't going to touch the ball and Giannis isn't going to be Giannis because Lillard's now here and he's a guard.
I think it's more about Dame being like the facilitator with
I just think of any team in the NBA where the second person is
when it comes to crunch time, Lillard's going to have the ball and take the game-winning shot.
Yeah, but you would have said the same thing for Wade or Chalmers when LeBron was there. You would have said the same thing for Pippen Jordan's the same conversation. The second guy doesn't sell. And this is not a diss on Lillard. He's awesome. He might be what they need to get another title. But to me, it's always Giannis's team. Giannis is the multi-time MVP, the finals winner. I think he won finals MVP. I'm almost positive. Yeah, to me, it's Giannis and then everything else.
Pippen was never on his own team, dropping buckets in people's faces, hitting game winners, and then
didn't they go to the Eastern Conference Finals the 2 years Jordan wasn't there? I believe they lost both years. I mean, Eastern Conference Finals is still pretty good.
Lillard's different. Okay. I like Lillard.
Fair conversation. Chat, what do you think?
It is. I think when push comes to shove, Kobe and Shaq. I think there's a little Kobe and Shaq to that.
That's a good
one.
Hey
now, Cam Thomas.
A guy we've definitely had conversations.
Kobe and Shaq's a good shout. Kobe and Shaq's a good shout in a similarity.
We'll see. Cam Thomas, a guy we've definitely had a conversation about before, had a couple big moments last year, had some crazy sales. He's back on fire. He's averaging 33 points a game for the Nets in 2023. He had a Panini 1 RPA at a $99, do $170 at bids. He had an immaculate RPA at a 50, do 300. He had a flawless rookie auto at a 10, do 450. He's averaging 33 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 61% from the field. He's third in the league in scoring at the moment with points per game. He's third.
Is he starting?
Yeah, he's getting real minutes.
To the Nets.
He's getting big time minutes because they don't really have a lot of other options. That's really Bridges or him because it's not going to be Ben Simmons. So he's playing a lot. He's getting a lot of shots up. There were some stats at the beginning of the season about how if he plays more than 25 minutes a game, he scores at least 28 points a game or something like that. So I don't know. I think in a world where the Nets are okay, right? They're like a play-in team probably, Ty. Is that fair?
It's fair.
Yeah, so if they're like a play-in team, if Cam Thomas can be the leading scorer on the Nets, I think that's an interesting opportunity.
Yeah, I think the upside is limited. I think he's good. I just not sure. Again, like, you're picking him to come out of the East, like with
Definitely
just
not to come out of the
what's
East.
there. So, what's the upside? Is it getting moved at some point when the Nets are like, okay, it's time to rebuild, and he gets on a winning team and can be the second guy on a contender, maybe. But yeah, I mean, 33 points a game is a heck of a start for a guy that has definitely shown flashes in the past. Bobby, what's next? All right.
Taps.
We talked about this in the beginning. This is in the beginning when we did the NBA predictions. This is a fun one. Kristaps Porzingis, 816 items sold on eBay. Was he the Celtics missing piece? He's obviously got a little bit of an injury risk, but most points ever in a Celtics debut at the Garden. Bobby, can you get me the point total on that? Put the stat on there, but doesn't have the actual number. A couple sales recently. Got a game used NT auto, did $40. Immaculate Modern Marks auto at a 10 did 37, but a select gold PSA 10 rookie auto did $900 as a buy it now. So those are all sales in the last couple days. I said this in the beginning when I picked the Celtics to win. I know, Lou, I think you had them in the finals or to win it all as well. I think just some of the highlights I saw. So he had 38 points in the opener.
He had 30 points in 38 minutes.
30 points in 38 minutes. Okay. This guy might be the piece the Celtics needed to finally get another title in Boston.
If he could stay healthy, that's always been his thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. He absolutely ripped my heart out. I guess we recorded, that was last Wednesday. So
then you went to the game, right?
Talked about that. Yep, I was there, and it was devastating. And it was Porzingis ripping the hearts out of the Knicks. He was the best player on the floor that night. The Celtics are deep. Anyone can bury you on any given night. I don't know if you saw the block down to the layup that he had on Jordan Poole against the Wizards the other night.
I did.
From like super far away, just came out of nowhere, blocked it, and runs down the other court. He looks very, 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 very good. He's playing defense. He's rebounding. He's altering shots. He's running the floor. He's got the three. He's got strength in his legs around the rim. It's tough. It hurts. It's pain.
That's tough.
The thing for him is going to be like at some point he's going to get shut down for a month and a half. And it's like, does he bounce back off of that month and a half? That seems like a fair assumption. Maybe not a month and a half, but like 3 weeks off. You know what I mean? Like that's going to happen at some point along the way. Yeah.
But he looks thick. Like it might not. It might not. He looks different. He's got this whole grizzly thing going on with his beard now. Like,
real quick, here's a question. One I'd love to get from the listeners as well. Lou, you have $100 to spend right now. You buying Kristaps Porzingis or Cam Thomas?
Oh, Kristaps for sure.
I would agree. I think the upside is higher,
which is funny to say.
Yeah, I think you're getting in it
a non-factor 2 years ago.
I think we need to.
I don't know, Cam Thomas or Porzingis.
I like Cam Thomas. Yeah.
You went Cam Thomas?
No, I went Porzingis.
So I did too.
Thomas went to Oak Hill. He was a 5-star high school recruit.
LSU, right?
LSU. He's coming to the league. I guess he just doesn't play great defense for the Nets, but like,
no.
I mean, this is his second year. There's something about him that makes me feel like he could break out in like his fourth year on some Kawhi Leonard type.
It's not out of the question that he's
Cam
a full-time 28 point a game scorer or 25 points a game scorer in the NBA. Like that's not off the table for him. But Porzingis, I think, has a clearer path forward to relevance this season. So if I had $100, I'd probably buy Porzingis.
I respect that. I think I'm going to take the gamble and go with Cammy T.
Yeah,
agreed.
Let me.
All right, here's a fun
14,000 sales.
14,000 sales on eBay for Victor.
Where's
Wembanyama
that from?
cards.
Can you guys confirmation on that number?
I think it's just when you go to eBay and type in Victor Wembanyama and hit sold items. I mean, CJ Stroud had like what 20,000.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. He's got 15.7 points a game, 7.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists. He's shooting 44% from the field. I will tell you, I went to the Nashville card show. What did this have been? Second week of October. there was a Victor Wembanyama sale right before that on a PSA 10 Bowman Chrome. I looked it up at the show because I bought some at the show. I was like, you know what? This kid looks good in preseason. Let me buy some cards. I looked up a PSA 10 at that show, and there was a PSA 10 sale. It had to have been days before, a week before, whatever. It was in the last 7 days at that show. There was a sale on a PSA 10 at $1,500. You know what the last one just sold for, according to the sheet that Bobby just showed us right here? Now, this is a 10-10, so that is definitely different than a PSA 10 no 10 auto grade. I understand the auto grade helps it, but $4,000. This dude's stuff is on fire. On fire. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It is hot, and there is real demand for Victor Wembanyama stuff right now.
It's
One by Bobby too. Sorry, Ty, just cut you off.
It's just crazy if you've watched him play. The things that you would assume he's going to struggle with or not be great at because of his height, he does, and he does incredibly well.
Really well.
I mean, he did a little back down, spin off, reverse dunk, jumping from the other side. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think
the thing that it keeps going through my mind with Wembanyama is imagine being his teammate. There's a whole nother way you have to learn of how to play with this dude. That is another level that I don't even think they're able to get to yet. You have to think, I mean, lobs are open in a way that never were before. You know, I don't know who he's playing with from a creative, like, playmaking standpoint, but think about after 70 games, the people understanding of his spacing and ability to make impact compared to where it's at now. I think there's going to be a lot of things that unlock.
Yeah, and I also think it helps to have one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time being in his corner. Like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy, but the NBA did a hell of a job making sure the Spurs got the number 1 pick.
You're not?
They weren't sending him to Washington, I'll tell you that much.
That is true. That's very, very, very true. But yeah, I mean, having Pop there definitely helps with going back to the days of Robinson and Duncan. Seems like if anybody can kind of figure out the superstar and how to, improve his basketball IQ and get the most out of him, Popovich seems like the man for the job. So it's going to be fun to watch, right? Just with Zion, they're obviously different basketball players, but like any big time prospect, health is one of the biggest factors. Like, there's no denying the talent is there. Can he stay healthy? We'll see. Bobby, is there one more, or are we good on 4 this week? I think we're good on 4. So we've got 4 ones this week. Obviously, very different ends of the spectrum, but I think next week we're going to do another NFL one with a little midseason update, see who got traded, see what their stuff looks like, maybe midseason awards, who's the MVP, what do their cards look like. So drop some comments in the chat. Let us know some guys you want to get an update on next week. We'll bring back Stock Watch and we'll get that updated. But
I like Stock Watch.
We're gonna move play of the week to next week. We've got a really good one, but we're running short on time, so stay tuned. Next week's play of the week should be a really, really good one. But we do have some big products coming out this week as we wrap up this episode with latest launch. One of the highlights for sure, finally out, Topps Chrome All-American Basketball with the first ever Bronny James autographs on trading cards. Those will release this Wednesday. So by the time you're hearing this, Topps Chrome All-American Basketball will be coming out. SP Authentic Hockey 22-23. That should be a fun one. That's always a great product. You have Bowman Sterling Baseball, Prism Collegiate Draft Picks Choice. You got some new Pokemon Scarlet Violet Paradox Rift coming out. That should be a fun one. All brand new Pokemon does really, really well for us. So I know I'm looking forward to that one. Definitely a lot of demand for that. And then you got Wild Card Map Premium Edition Football. So not necessarily anything super, super crazy, but a lot of different stuff. Pokemon, basketball, baseball, a lot of stuff. So should be a fun release week.
There is one Bronny James Topps Chrome auto on eBay already.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it looks like.
It's a sticker auto, which is a bummer. I think we expected that though.
Wow, $202. That's a cool looking card. So for those of you that are watching, here is the photo.
So you can put it up on the screen
right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wemby and that last stock watch, we have our giveaway that we announced last week, which to my recollection was the Wemby card. Ryan, do you recall?
Yep, 9-5 Panini Instant Rookie.
Oh, baby.
And we were going to choose a winner based on our favorite comment of NBA hot take. I think we received something like 90 comments. We're going to keep this thing going. But to my understanding, the winner was Rob Saunier 9489. I think that means September 4th, 1989. Rob, appreciate you. And you will be receiving the card. We will be reaching out for your address. The hot take was that Trae Young will get traded to the Lakers, and the Lakers will make a run to the finals.
That would be awesome. And hope that happens.
Right? I think NBA fans would be intrigued by that situation. So that is this week's winner. And we will do another giveaway. Do you guys have a question in mind?
Yeah, I put it in chat. I want to know who you think the NFL MVP is so far halfway through the season. I think there's a lot of good answers here. QB, non-QB. I think there's some real debate on non-QB at the moment. So who is the NFL MVP halfway through the season and why? Send him another Victi.
I think we'll find a card somewhere in the value of $75, hopefully, of the person that this person chooses.
That's a fun one. Okay.
That's how we'll do that. So NFL MVP so far through 8 weeks. In the comments, get in there, leave them below. We'll choose our favorite. Extra points for those that have healthy debates amongst each other as to why or why not.
Healthy debate
may be valid.
Shout out to everybody who listened. We'll see you guys next week. Peace,
Stay
guys.
befuddled.